Hello there and welcome to the next installment of 10-minute tips over tea with using technology better. I'm Samantha and today I'm bringing you our favourite tips in OneNote. So I consulted with the team and said what would all be our top tips that we'll share, and today I'm going to bring them to you. So let me get sorted with the screen share. I'll just pop off my camera and start sharing my screen for you. Okay, so hopefully you can see that, all good. So, key thing before we even start getting into these tips is I just quickly want to cover off the different flavors of OneNote, which can often be a little bit confusing. So I'm presenting today from a Windows device, which adds an extra layer of complexity because there's an extra flavor there, but just really briefly, so OneNote, on Windows, you actually have OneNote 2016, which actually comes through with if you've got Microsoft Office installed. You've also then got the OneNote Windows 10 app, and you can use this even if you don't have Microsoft Office installed. So the Windows 10 app is just installed on Windows. And there's also then the online version of OneNote. So that's if you log into your Microsoft Office 365 account or OneNote online, you can get to that. So I've kind of got the three different versions on the screen at the moment. They're all similar but slightly different. There's also then a Mac version if you're on Mac, which will be a bit different again, and a mobile version. So all that being said, I'm actually going to work in the Windows 10 app today. So I'm going to shrink all these other ones down, and I'm going to work in this one. So I'm just quickly going to change my screen share so that you can see actually, no, I might stick with that one. We'll do that. All right, cool. So hopefully it's not too small and hopefully you can see it okay. So first tip for you today is all about working with color. So a couple of ways you can work with color here in OneNote, and the first one is choosing the color of your tabs or your sections. So on the left here, you'll see I've got a couple both that are red, including this one. So just a right click over that tab there, or a two-finger push if you're on Mac or a Chromebook, change my section color, and I can actually go and choose another color for that one. So if you're in a classroom environment, you might actually organize it so you've got different colors for different sections that correspond to colors you might use for that topic in the classroom or something like that. Now, the other thing you can do with color is change the background color of a page. So that's on the View tab, and you've got the page color option. So you can go in and you can change the color. So this is really good, again, particularly in a classroom environment if you're making some really rich content to push out to the kids, maybe through class notebook or something like that. Then you can straight away, you can change your background color to pick up some interest. It's also great for students that might have some learning difficulties that are enhanced by different colored pages. So you've got that, and the kids can change it themselves as well if they want to. So there's the two color tips. Now, another thing I really, really like is that you can actually password protect sections. So any of these sections on the left here, if I right click it, you'll notice there's an option called password protection. So I can put a password on that particular section. Now, it's unlikely that you'll password protect like class content or something, but I use this for some of my personal content that I do want to keep secure. So really good, you can add the password there. Now, key thing, don't ever forget this password because you can't actually recover it. So just make sure that it's one that you can remember. You might want to use another password manager tool or something like that and store it in there. Okay, so a few tips for you. Now, the next one is all about using printouts. So one of the things I love most about OneNote is the ability to print, and I'm sort of doing like whole air quotes thing as I say that, print stuff into OneNote. So here's an example actually of something I did earlier. So this was a PDF file and I printed it into OneNote. Essentially it's, printed it onto the page. And you can do that from the insert menu and go into printout. If you're on Windows 10 as well, you actually have OneNote listed as a printer. So you can actually like print to it, which is kind of cool. So that's kind of tip one, but tip two related to this is if you put content in there and then you want to work with it, you might want to annotate over the top of it, write on it, draw on it, that kind of thing, or you want your students to do it. It can be a bit annoying when the content kind of starts to move around a little bit. So what you can actually do is like right click this printout, and I can actually choose the set picture as background option. And if I do that, it's now in the background, and you see I can't move it, like I'm trying to click and move and I can't. So then if I was drawing over the top with my mouse, so if I just go to my draw tab, if I was like drawing stuff, oops, actually select something. Oh, hang on a minute. I'm going to do mine slightly different because I'm on a touch screen. So that's all right. I won't show that to you guys right now. You can try on yours. I'm on a touch screen with a pen, so mine's behaving a little differently. So you can draw on it, you can write on it. Let's do a righty on it. So if I was to click here and I can start typing, you'll see it's going to right type straight on top of it. So you can do that kind of thing. And some of these activities are really good. This is an example of activities for students where they'd come and then draw on top and match things up and that kind of stuff. All right, so talking about working with text, I'm going to go to this next page. So a few things you can do with text. Now, how I actually got this text in here was using a clip to OneNote tool. And you can actually do this natively in Microsoft Edge. There's like a little OneNote tool that you can take content off web pages and pop them into OneNote. There's also a OneNote web clipper for Google Chrome, which you can do the same thing. So great if you're doing research or wanting to get content. And what I really love about it is it references where it's come from as well. So once this is in here, a few things that are really helpful when working with text. The first one is the ability to add tags. So on the Home tab, there's this little thing here that's kind of got a tick box, and if I click on that, I've got some tags to choose from, and I can actually create more tags as well. So what a tag is a way to remind yourself and come back to some content, a way to find content. So if I was to pop the important tag on, what is powerful is then I can come over to the search, and in the search box, if I just click in the search box, I can search for everything that has the important tag. So if this was a revision list or a must follow up or to-do list or something like that, it's actually going to pull out everything that's tagged with that item. All right, so next little thing that is perhaps one of our favorite features, this came up from everyone in the team when I asked what should we cover, is the Immersive Reader. So I'm on, again, I've got all this text and I'm going to go to the View tab and I'm going to use the Immersive Reader option, which is here. And this is great in the classroom sense. Our general manager also likes it for reading contracts out loud when he doesn't want to sit there and work through pages. So you'll see how this works in a minute. So great for business as well. So if I pop on Immersive Reader, it actually grabs that text and puts it in a readable kind of view. And this does a few things. First thing, it will read it out loud. So I'm actually going to move down here where there's a bit more interesting text. So
ever since China slapped a ban on many categories of foreign waste,
so hopefully you heard that okay coming through my speakers. So straight away it can read content out loud to the students or to yourselves. And noticing that I did that clip from a website, this is a really good way to make website stuff really accessible as well. So, or any worksheets you put in or anything like that. Now to change these kind of things down the bottom, I can choose voice settings, I can change speed, that kind of thing. Then up here I've got some other preferences. I can change text size, background color. I can go in and highlight particular things in the text, space stuff out, and I can use a line focus if I just want to focus on one line at a time. So that's the other couple of things I can do with this tool. So let me jump out because I've got other cool stuff I want to show you. So dig into that one in your own time. So to jump over, we've got a minute left. So just want to talk about the power of ink and maths and shapes. So I've done some inking earlier. I am on a device with a pen. So really cool if you can do like inking either with your finger or with a pen or something like that, and you pop it into OneNote. On the Draw tab, if then you then select that text, you can actually go ink to text and it's actually going to convert it. Oh, and that one did a terrible job, which is really, really interesting because usually it's really awesome. And I actually tested this yesterday. That one's better. Maybe I mucked this up when I tested it yesterday. So yeah, trust me, it's usually really, really good. Don't you love a live demo? But ooh, pretty worked out. So take that one and give this a go for yourself. Next little thing on the maths tab I've got here, same kind of deal. So you can either type in some maths stuff or you can ink it. If you ink it, you can then do the same thing like you convert it. But I've typed this one in earlier. So if I select that, I can then go up to the maths option here on the Draw tab, and I can actually graph that. I can solve that. So that's really, really cool. And then, yeah, you can move it around. You can change the equation and that kind of thing and see the results. So some maths tools built right in there. So 2 little last things before we wrap up. The ink, you also have an ink to shape option. So here's some shapes I was playing with yesterday. If you actually draw a shape with your finger or the pen, and then choose ink to shape, it will turn it into a proper shape. Here's a real quick video that just actually shows it. My colleague Paul did this for me yesterday. And I love it because what it actually does is it also shows that you can embed videos in OneNote and they actually play straight from OneNote. So you can see Paul drawing there and then the shapes turning into full-on shapes, proper shapes immediately. So last thing I will show, and then I'm going to wrap up. This is from my colleague Donna. She wouldn't forgive me if I didn't show you this. So just don't forget, Windows 10 app for OneNote, you do have the stickers option. So who doesn't love that? Adults, kids alike. So you've got all these cool stickers you can bring in, and some of my favorite ones, you can actually go and change what they say, and then you can drag that sticker in. So there you go. All right, so let me just flip back in. I'll turn off that screen share, pop my camera back on. Hopefully you can see me. There you go. Enjoy those tips for OneNote. Have a great day. Enjoy your cup of tea, and we'll see you next time. Bye.